What's up, guys? So it's been a while since I did a video, but I'm gonna do one here on Tesla real quick because we have some sentiment change, and I think it's pretty important to be watching this chart right now. And in my opinion, this is going to provide the most opportunity in the future. So before I get into this chart, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, leave a comment below. And I also have this Discord that I run. It's completely free for right now. It's not always going to be free. Take advantage of it. I provide technical analysis in here, my thesis. Sometimes I'll post my entries and exits, but I kind of got away from that because I really scalp trade a lot. And when I want to do that, I'm going to be sharing my screen, and that will be when I go paid version of this. And I'll do the 1,000 to 25K challenge doing scalps. Right now, what's entirely free is the trading floor, and then I have threads for every ticker that we mainly trade, and as well as the growth account challenge and what I'm planning on doing there and the success that that's having right now. Currently, the growth account challenge, we're in week 7 right now, and the account's up over $100, so about 16%. And the goal for this challenge is to try to get 50% by the end of the year on top of the capital I put in there. And every week I put $100 into this account. If you want to join, the link's in the description below. Check it out. So Tesla, I've been pounding the table for this stock for quite a while. In my opinion, like I was saying before, this is not just a car company. Everyone keeps talking about, all the analysts saying that they're cutting car prices and they're not meeting expectations. And like I was saying before, that this is an AI company, robotics. That's, in my opinion, robotics is going to be the next big thing as far as this AI wave into the next few years. And I think Tesla is poised to be the leader in that. So that's like my overall thesis that I'm going with, basically. Like, they're on their 4th version of Optimus. Musk said in his conference call that they plan on having it doing simple warehouse tasks by the end of the year, and then selling some of the robotics in 2025. And that's huge. It's absolutely huge news. And you can kind of see this in the chart as well, as far as us tightening up, that if anything happens with a breakthrough, this thing's going to skyrocket. We're going to see way beyond all-time highs. So while everyone else is looking at chip stocks and everything else, the last big push that we had in 2023, 2024, I think the next wave is here. And in my opinion, I'm not going to focus too hard on there. There's definitely growth, but I think the next huge trade is, like I said, robotics. So I'm going to focus on the company that I think is going to benefit the most from it and has a lead advantage. Let's go over to the charts real quick, though. So on the monthly chart, we had this large lower wick. I was telling members that I was scaling in on this growth account challenge on this drop. I also bought leaps. I think that was this day right here. If not this day. Yeah, it was this day right here. 2 gaps down. And my plan was, if we gap down another time, I was going to add a lot of size. But we gapped down right into the earnings report here. And it wasn't a clean 3 gap down setup. So I didn't over leverage myself with risk. And I just kept those there. I ended up cutting my leaps right here. I think it was 170. I can pinpoint it on a 5-minute chart. It was right here. During that last bit of consolidation, I said that we didn't have a daily trend change, that I'm going to exit my leaps and try to get back in on a daily higher low, which we didn't get. Probably would have, to be honest, because the next day we just pumped up a little bit more and it looked like we were ready to consolidate. But then over the weekend, Musk got a deal with China for full self-driving, or I think it's tentative. So I would have made more money if I just held my leaps, but I feel like it was the right call. You can't hope that there's news to happen, and the charts were saying that we're probably due for consolidation. So I was just going to try to get a quick flip and re-enter on a retest of this buy zone, if not some of the gap fill again. But also today, I chose to exit in the growth account challenge. I took all my shares out of Tesla at 12.13. That's when I posted it. I sold at 196.48, and currently we're trading lower. My reasoning for that, I wanted to hold the growth account challenge shares long term Basically, my thoughts were I don't want to sell those until I see robots, like actually robots, and they're part of our everyday lives. I want to hold that long term. But with the extent of this move we have here, we rallied 40 some percent. It's a massive rally, no daily trend change. We're due for a daily higher low, due for consolidation. We have this gap from earnings here, and now we have another gap here, and we gapped right into this resistance zone. And the thing I'm looking at is that's the highest daily volume we've had in over a year, since January of 2023. So it's massive volume. Usually that indicates some sort of consolidation. Shorts capitulating, because I guarantee you shorts were shorting here in this zone. And that gap up was a lot of shorts covering. I'm sure there was buys too from people getting FOMO. But in my opinion, this is not really where you want to enter unless you're entering really long term. You don't care about pullbacks and all that stuff. I am trying to negate some sort of a pullback here. And in the small account challenge, my intention, if we get this, is to add in the 180s. So a retest of this zone we had here, that was about a month worth of price action. So if we come down here and retest this, I'm going to add long-term into the growth account challenge. Probably start scouting it out in my account as well, as far as leaps. Unfortunately, I exited down here, but I'm cool with re-entering higher. This just further confirms that this is a longer-term bottom. I'm looking for either this to hit or to gap fill right now. I don't think this gap fills, to be entirely honest, but that's just my opinion. Unless the market crashes, I think the floor is in. At most, I could see retesting the lows of the earnings. That's a huge pullback from here. And sentiment is definitely shifting. So I'd be looking for something like this to occur, or maybe fill this gap and break out. But you can see here, I was calling this out that we should keep an eye out for this lower trend line. As we were dumping, we're capitulating. We had the bullish divergence on the daily chart while we were making lower lows. And we were also had the potential of bouncing off this trend line. And obviously that happened. So this pattern to me is definitely valid. You can see all these touches up here. And now we have 3 touches on this lower trend line. So this has been tightening up for a little while. And it's an equilibrium, I believe, on like a 3-month chart. We pushed up now. What I would like to see, obviously, like I said, is that daily higher low. And then start to push towards the top of this and break out to the upside. The closer we get to this apex here, the more likely we are to break out one way or the other. It doesn't have to break out to the upside. But given how beat down the stock is, the positive catalyst in the future, I'd imagine this thing breaks out to the upside, and I'm still extremely bullish Tesla. It's really the stock that I'm the most bullish on long term, and I honestly cannot wait to get back into this. But I do think we are due for consolidation, so I'm trying to negate some pullback here because things don't go straight up. You can see over here we still had trend changes on the base of the bottom of 2023, and this huge volume, we still came back, formed a daily higher low. Nothing crazy as far as the pullback, and I'm not saying this thing's going to crash over here, like where we're at. I'd like for it to get to here. I think that'd be a healthy retracement. Like say we did top out today, and we did get down to around the 180 zone. That'd be the 382. Which is a shallow enough pullback to expect further continuation if we put it in our daily higher low here. Another reason why I'm kind of thinking this could completely fill is it's a gap on the weekly chart. Those are kind of rare. Doesn't have to. In my opinion, though, the sentiment is definitely shifting. Right now, we're in a weekly zone as far as resistance, which is another reason why I exited the shares today. And we have this weekly 20, which is rejected price ever since the beginning of the year. Same as the 8-period moving average, which we're now closing above, or likely to close above. We still have a lot of this week to go yet, but We're pretty high above it. I also was telling members in the Discord, I was keeping an eye out for this bearish divergence coming up into this zone. Again, like I said, weekly 20 zone, bearish divergence. We have this large gap. We're extended on the daily chart, 43% up with no higher low yet. That'll definitely happen, in my opinion, sooner rather than later. This is a short squeeze, so maybe it tries to pump one more time. The thing is, I'm seeing people say it can hit 220. And if we clear this resistance zone, there's really no resistance till all the way up here. We have this price trading zone that we traded in for a while, and right up here there's a lot of resistance. But from basically the top of this resistance zone all the way up until 230s, I don't really see much resistance. And we also have this trend line. This isn't just going to bust out of that trend line. That'd be wild. The odds don't favor it anyways. I guess anything can happen. Maybe Elon Musk comes out with something news related that pumps it again, but at some point, bulls are going to take profit. Shorts that were in here are completely capitulated and sentiment shifts, and we trend change. What I'd like to see is for this to come down, ideally fill the gap. Just get it off the table. Like I said, this gap down here is unlikely to fill, in my opinion. But this weekly gap, if we can get rid of that, pull back, come down, fill this, and start to trade positively into the next earnings report, which is the end of summer, and Elon Musk said about the robo-taxis in August, I can see this stock forming its higher low and start to grind upwards, and then maybe bust out of this longer-term pennant that we have on the monthly chart. And I think the real squeeze is on then. I do believe a lot of investors and fund managers are starting to shift their tone on here as well, realizing that this thing is absolutely smashed. I think it was the only S&P 500 stock that was red on the year. Narrowing down to the 4-hour chart, we're in an hourly uptrend right now, but I'm looking at this 4-hour, and our last higher low is all the way down at 166.42. What I'd like to see, again, come down here, that'd be a 4-hour higher low as well, and it would be our daily higher low. And then you can try to bust through. But if we get back down here, I'm entering, like I said, in the growth account challenge. I would have negated about 8% of a pullback, so, and I can acquire more shares. I want to load up as much Tesla as I can while it's at these prices. What I was saying is if Tesla is below 200, to me, that's an accumulation area. And if it's above 200, I'll start looking elsewhere. I don't want the whole account to be just Tesla, but I do think there's a ton of upside in Tesla. So I'm trying to acquire as much as I can while it's at this cheap of a prices. So that's all I have. I just wanted to do something short, sweet. Like I said, I'm keeping an eye on this longer term pattern. To my knowledge, I watch other people on YouTube as well, and I didn't see anybody else saying about this being a potential at all. So I think a lot of people weren't really aware of this, and then now they kind of are. So they're a little late to the party, and like I said, looking for that daily higher low. Give the daily higher low some healthy consolidation, back test this zone, push out to the upside. Like I said, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, leave a comment below, help support the channel. I'm not sure how often I make videos. I want to make them when they're pretty relevant, and they are time consuming, and right now everything's free, so I do have a life, and I did quit my job to trade and have freedom, so I'm not going to just pump out videos and suck away my whole life with this. But if it's really relative and I feel like it can help a lot of people, I'm going to make some content, and once this does go to a paid portion, then I'll devote a lot more of my time to this. But right now, I have a lot of plans for this year, so I don't plan on just sitting at the desk all day. So if you could do me a favor, hit the like, leave a comment below, give me some support for the value you get out of this. And like I said, if you want to join the Discord, it's completely free for right now. Take advantage of it. Join it. It's free. Check it out. And until next time, I wish you the best in the market.